The Observatory has issued the cold weather warning, especially urging runners participating in the Hong Kong Marathon on Sunday to stay warm. A manpower shortage forces the Hong Kong Children's Hospital to temporarily suspend services in its ear, nose, and throat department, affecting more than 500 patients. And the SAR government will launch a complaint with the World Trade Organization in response to additional U.S. tariffs on Hong Kong goods. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Jeremy Chu. The cold weather warning is now in place, and the mercury is expected to dip to the lowest record in this winter on Sunday. Hong Kongers are urged to keep warm, especially those eager local and overseas runners who will be joining the Hong Kong Marathon on Sunday. Evelyn Bai reports.
The Hong Kong Observatory said the mercury could dive to between 9 to 10 degrees on Sunday morning. It would be very cold in the morning over many places in the New Territories over the weekend. Temperatures over the high ground may be close to the freezing point. Han Kai-kwong, Senior Scientific Officer of the observatory, said the temperature on Sunday might be the lowest since this winter, urging the marathon runners to prepare appropriate clothing and ensuring warm-up before the race. He also said the wind chill effect could be stronger in open areas along the route. As the Standard Chartered Hong Kong Marathon is set to kick off this Sunday, runners are getting themselves prepared. Overseas elite runners Rose Chilimo and Gashao Ayali, both first-time visitors to Hong Kong, share their views about the Sunday race.
Concerning Sunday, I've been preparing for long, since last year up to now. It needs a lot of discipline and dedication.
Gashao Ayali from Israel, who set a new national marathon record of 2 hours, 4 minutes and 53 seconds, said he found there are lots of ups and downs along the route and hopes he is ready for the race. Local runner Virginia Lowe said cold weather is actually more favorable for achieving good results, especially dry weather. She also reminded the athletes to keep warm. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Despite a surge in children flu cases under the cold spell, the Children's Hospital in Kai Tak has suspended services at its ear, nose, and throat department due to staffing issues. Hospital Authorities Chief Tony Ko said hiring is underway, hoping that services at the hospital will resume normal in the second half of the year. According to the Hospital Authority, the ENT department originally had a team comprising an associate consultant, a resident doctor, and a part-time consultant, one of whom had resigned while another was sick. Since November last year, the ENT services have been temporarily adjusted, including a halt on new patient admissions. The more than 500 existing outpatient cases, including those under other specialists, had been transferred to other public hospitals for treatment. The Hospital Authority apologized for the inconvenience and concern caused to the children and their parents, hoping to gradually resume ENT services once the manpower situation improves. Meanwhile, in the wake of a spike in emergency room visits at public hospitals following the Lunar New Year holidays, the Hospital Authority would be maintaining its special measures for emergency services until further notice. Evelyn Bai reports.
The Hospital Authority reported that flu cases in the emergency room increased last week, with an admission rate of 0.56 exceeding the baseline level of 0.27. Taking to the airwaves, Larry Lee, Chief Manager of the Hospital Authority, said that daily patient numbers in the emergency room hit around 5,500, with internal medicine reaching nearly 1,100 per day. To meet the rising demand for hospital services, the HA extended the service demand surge special measures period, which had been in place before Christmas, until further notice, enhancing manpower, bed capacity, and laboratory testing services, for influenza and other viruses. The HA called on the patients with mild conditions to consult general outpatient clinics or private hospitals. Residents are also urged to get their flu shots early and wear masks in crowded places. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
The government said it will file a complaint with the World Trade Organization regarding the United States' decision to impose tariffs on products from the SAR. Quentin Yang reports.
The SAR government announced today that it will officially initiate procedures under the WTO dispute settlement mechanism over the United States' decision to impose an additional 10% tariffs on Hong Kong products. A government spokesperson said these measures are fundamentally inconsistent with WTO regulations and disregard the city's status as a separate customs territory, as outlined in the Basic Law and recognized by the WTO. The spokesperson also reiterated Hong Kong's unwavering commitment to a rules-based multilateral trading system and expressed a strong opposition to the U.S. actions, urging Washington to promptly rectify its measures. Meanwhile, Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development Algernon Yao also met with representatives of several major local chambers of commerce, calling on the industry to unite and withstand the unreasonable measures taken by the U.S. He also assured that the government will stand with the industry and uphold the legitimate rights of Hong Kong businesses. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Separately, Hong Kong Post said it will continue to suspend accepting packages bound for the United States until further notice, amid the confusing situation about parcels sent from the city. This decision came despite of a recent U-turn by the U.S. Postal Service, of which a short-lived ban on inbound parcels from Hong Kong and mainland China was imposed and then lifted in less than 24 hours. A government spokesperson stated that Hong Kong Post is in communication with USPS to clarify certain matters, including the imposition of additional duties. The SAR government reiterated its strong disapproval of the U.S. imposing additional tariffs on Hong Kong products and urged the U.S. to rectify its actions to avoid causing confusion and inconvenience to the public. The city's sole railway operator, MTR Corporation, faces penalties of at least $1 million following a severe 7-hour service disruption on the East Rail Line on Wednesday. Quentin Yang reports.
The incident occurred on Wednesday morning near Tai Wo Station when an 80-ton engineering vehicle became stranded on the tracks during maintenance. The obstruction forced the northbound and southbound trains to share a single track, stretching intervals to up to 24 minutes at some stations from morning rush hour until lunchtime. The incident has triggered the Service Performance Rebate Mechanism. This means the MTR will need to set aside at least $1 million as rebates for passengers. Deputy Secretary for Transport and Logistics Kirk Kim told lawmakers this morning. Im added that the government has requested a detailed report within a month, including the cause of the incident and proposed measures to prevent future occurrences. However, lawmakers criticized the penalty system's limitations. Roundtable lawmaker Michael Tian said the current formula only accounts for individual train delays exceeding 31 minutes. Ignoring cumulative system-wide impacts, and the loophole must be addressed. While MTR executives apologized repeatedly, they also justified their response. Jenny Yuan, managing director of MTR's Hong Kong operations, explained that forcibly removing the heavy vehicle could cause permanent track damage. But Yuan pledged to review the incident and explore ways to expedite repairs in similar situations. Under the 2023 penalty mechanism, delays of 3 to 4 hours incur an $8 million fine, with an additional $4 million for each extra hour, capped at $40 million. Once fines reach $25 million, the operator must offer half-price rides on designated weekends as compensation to passengers. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Panama has become the first Latin American country to announce its withdrawal from China's massive Belt and Road Initiative infrastructure program.
The Belt and Road Initiative.
Panamanian President José Raúl Mulino said he had instructed the Central American country's embassy in Beijing to submit the required 90-day notice of withdrawal from the program, which it had joined in 2017. The decision comes just days after U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio visited Panama City and met with President José Raúl Mulino. Rubio had raised Washington's concerns over Chinese investment in the Panama Canal, but hailed Panama's decision to quit China's infrastructure program as a great step forward for bilateral relations. Foreign Ministry spokesman Ling Jian said the partnership was yielding fruitful results and urged Panama to resist external interference and make the right decisions based on the overall bilateral relationship and the long-term interests of the people of both countries. Days after announcing an audacious plan of an American takeover of the Gaza Strip, U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order sanctioning the International Criminal Court, accusing it illegitimate and baseless actions. Sachin Kadvi reports.
Trump's sanctions will place financial and visa restrictions on individuals and their families who assist in ICC investigations of U.S. citizens or its allies. Based in the Dutch city of Hague, the International Tribunal prosecutes individuals for genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and the crime of aggression. Trump signed the measure as Benjamin Netanyahu was visiting Washington. The Israeli Prime Minister is wanted for alleged war crimes in Gaza after the ICC issued an arrest warrant for him last November. Condemning Trump's executive order, the ICC said the sanctions on its officials harm its independence and impartial judicial work, which it will continue, providing justice and hope to millions of innocent victims of atrocities across the world. As a global prosecutor, the International Criminal Court has also issued arrest warrants for Russian President Vladimir Putin over alleged war crimes in Ukraine, leaders of the Afghan Taliban for persecuting girls and women, and Myanmar's military leader for crimes against Rohingya Muslims. Sachin Kadvi, Cable News.
Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index was up 241 points to close at the highest level in almost 4 months. Daily turnover increased to more than $240 billion, the most in nearly 2 months. Top active stocks of the day. Tencent was up $7.80. BYD was up $14.20. SMIC was down $1.25, while Meituan was up $4. Onto the weather now. The temperature will drop overnight and the mercury will slip to 11 degrees Celsius in the urban areas and a couple of degrees lower in the new territories. Fine and very dry during the day tomorrow with a maximum temperature of about 16 degrees. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our news tonight. I'm Jeremy Zhu. Thank you for watching and good night.